And welcome to our State of the Program special on the Davenport football team. The Panthers coming off another successful season. 8 wins for the second straight year, finished ranked number 22 in the nation in Division II after the regular season. Head coach Sparky McEwen joins us, and we like to do this once in the spring to kind of look at the state of the program going into the off season. And now we are doing it coming right directly out of the season. First, Coach, your overall reflections on the 8-win season and the number 22 ranking.
Obviously you would like to be playing this week in the playoffs. And once again, you got to think about our kids. They did a tremendous job of putting themselves in position to be thought of, to get in a tournament. And, with the NCAA and how the top 28 teams in the seeds work. Unfortunately, we just missed, getting in that thing in the 8th position. So once again, it's been a successful year for the boys, and disappointed at the very end that we didn't get in that thing. And I always tell anyone that's listening that this program's only lost to the number 1 and number 2 team in the country for the most part. You got Grand Valley was the 2-time defending GLIAC champions, and that was a loss. And then the 2-time defending national champions you lose to, and we thought that would be enough to get in. But unfortunately, our guys know we need to take the next step. And other than that, a lot of good things happened throughout the year. And we're just excited about our off season and things that we need to do in order to take that next step.
And Coach, a lot of folks don't realize too, from last year when you did get in with the 2 losses, you had a couple of quality wins that teams got bonus points or bonus consideration that you didn't have this year because those teams weren't on the schedule or they didn't have the kind of season they had last year.
Yeah, the first one that jumps out at you is going to be Saginaw Valley. Saginaw Valley, obviously, quality program and has done tremendous things, and we consider them a blue blood when it comes to football and the Division II level with high expectations. On the program, they didn't have the year that they had the year before, so that would have been a quality win. Michigan Tech is another one the year before that was picked to take third in our conference. It didn't fare as well, this year, and they're always excellent. I think they finished right about 500. And then we had Truman State, that was on the schedule the year before and finished with 2 losses, 9-2. That was another big win, for us as well. So when you're playing at that level, those games, are significant. Now, we had Bowie State on our conference, on our schedule, which was picked, to win their side of the bracket, their division championship. And I think their quarterback got dinged up against us, and then that hurt them, as they moved on during their season. So, it kind of went against us in a way. And picking up Mary, was a big game for us because we needed that other D2 opponent, on our schedule. And they actually won a couple games right after we played them, back-to-back wins they had for themselves. Thomas More got out to a nice start. They finished right around 500. Wayne State didn't have the success that they, are expected to have, throughout the year as well. So a lot of things happened on the schedule that killed us in the strength of schedule, and that had a lot to do with the fact of finishing in the 8th seed in that region.
We'll talk a little more about your 24 schedule at the end of this segment here, but first, just hot off the presses, literally hot off the presses, we just got the all GLIAC football teams announced. A number of Panthers on offense, defense, and special teams. Great representation. We'll talk about them as far as the guys that are coming back for next year. You start out with the guy who was named the running back of the season in the GLIAC, and of course that is Myron Harris, who set a program record with 976 yards on 153 carries with 4 touchdowns, and just terrific contribution that he made in his first year in a DU uniform, and the fact you got him coming back is even better yet, Coach.
Well, he was. We were recipients of the transfer portal there. Here's a guy that in his first year as a freshman, he was a first-team all-conference selection. His second year, he was a second-team all-conference selection. And this year, wow, he comes in as a transfer, made a huge impact to our program. And he was first-team all-GLIAC, and he followed it up with a major award winner being selected the back of the year. So once again, in the portal, these type of things can happen, and it just shows you that at Davenport, it's a destination spot, for guys that will get a fair shot, a great opportunity to succeed. And here's a guy that took full advantage of a great opportunity because he came in this place, not only did he come in and produce, but he's got great friends, that he's met. He's coming here, he's getting a great degree, and he's a happy young man, and that locker room loves Myron.
Well, you mentioned the portal, Coach, and you are at a great arrival spot for kids coming in. But there's no question about it at all levels of football now that these young men, no matter what the coaches tell them, there's guys on the outside, fellow classmates or friends or high school buddies that are telling them, you can do more somewhere else. How do you and your coaches handle that? How do you approach that with the players, trying to get that perspective as far as you got a good thing right here?
We embrace it. We're no different than anyone else. We actually talk about the portal, to our players. And, our guys understand that if they're going to go in the portal, there's also the chance that you're going to stay in the portal, okay? Because there's a lot of student athletes across the landscape that jump in the portal and they want to go experience something different somewhere else. And what people have to understand there is that there's a lot of other athletes in that portal as well. And we've done a pretty solid job of, recruiting the portal and seeing if we can have some people come in and fill some of the gaps, some of the spaces that, we leave. Like with some of these young guys here that's gone on to be great football players for us, but they're going to graduate, and if we don't have a youngster coming up in the system that we feel it can plug in right now, we'll find that quick fix, in the portal, whether it's a grad transfer for 1 year or if it's a grad transfer with 2 years remaining.
Back to the all-GLIAC team, a young man on the offensive line who made his presence felt from day one as a true freshman, Trent Allen, first team, and by golly, he's one of your building blocks, literally.
He is. He does a great job, and, you're talking about a 4.0 student, a guy that does a tremendous job in the weight room. He's a very soft-spoken young man, but he's ferocious on, game days and in practice. So I'm excited for him. He does a great job. It's well-deserved. He earned it. And just knowing we've got him for 2 more years, we're excited about that.
Preston Smith makes first team all-GLIAC for you as well, and he battled some injuries this year.
Yeah.
And we just want to see Preston healthy for a full year.
Yeah, remember it all started with that last game of the year in the championship game versus GV the year before when he sustained the ACL injury. So we really felt like he hit his stride right around week 7. But, his toughness that he has, here's a guy we're talking about with an NFL grade, so he's a young man right now with, looks like he's going to be coming back to us, but he has a chance to come out. And we were just so pleased in seeing him now, tough through what was going on with the injuries.
3 first team, by the way, all GLIAC finners, all finish up their eligibility with you. Gimonte Peck on the line, Julius Wilkerson, linebacker, Alaric Wooten, defensive back. But all 3 made their mark here at the DU program.
Once again, three young men that are transfers. Guys that came here looking for an opportunity. And one thing we talk about, you can get some of these players out of the portal, but they've got to be quality people. They got to have great character. Our staff does a tremendous job of looking into their background, okay, making sure that they fit the profile that we look for here. Hard workers, guys are going to come in and get their degrees or finish their degrees or get their master's degree. And guys that's going to come in our locker room and make an impact in that locker room. And those 3 young men, it doesn't get any better than those 3 right there. So we're pleased, but we're losing 3 really good football players. And our hope is that our guys can step up to fill in their shoes.
We'll mention a couple of guys on the second team that hoping to coming back. Austin Allward on the line, the second team all GLIAC, and really one of the specialties of TFL's tackles for loss. He's a young man that continues to, I think, gets better a little bit each year for your Davenport program.
He does. Last year he actually was on first team all GLIAC and then followed up again with that type of effort. Tells you a lot about the work ethic that Austin has. And he's another young man that gets to return next year to this team as well. He's put a lot of time in. He's one of our, tougher workers in the weight room on the offseason. He's just graduated. So here's a young man right now. He's, that type of talent at defensive end, getting after the quarterback, does a lot for us and our defensive coordinator, as they call that defense, because he's sitting here at 6'6", and he's lightning, off the edge. So getting him back and having another great year to get on the all GLIAC team, we're very excited for him.
All right, Coach, let's talk a little bit about what the team does. You know, the guys coming back, new guys coming in. What happens between now and when spring practice starts?
This is the time where our football team begins to go into what we call player developmental. Okay, we have different segments on the off season that whether it's strength conditioning or speed training. Um, these guys go into that segment of this year the strength conditioning piece is the one that's the number one piece for us. We got to make sure that we're able to put guys out there on the field that matches the power, the toughness of some of these teams in the GLIAC, because this, once again, it's an amazing conference. It's one of the best ones out there, and week in and week out you're playing against some very talented young men. So our guys understand the importance of of our strength and conditioning program. And Brock, man, he's just as important as any coach on this team and getting this team prepared. He does one hell of a job on the off season of making sure that our guys, are keeping up with the goals, that we set for them as a staff.
And as challenging he is, I hear player after player talk so highly of Coach Brock, because he challenges them and gets them to reach those goals that they want to try to get to.
And it's important. Any football coach will tell you at the collegiate level that the coach of your strength and conditioning program, man, he's just as important as anyone, in that coaching staff room.
Back to the All-GLIAC team, you got coming back next year, Brandon Gilo, place kicker. Didn't probably get as many opportunities because your offense was scoring more points down in the red zone, more touchdowns, which takes away his opportunity. But we saw even against right in the end there against Ferris State when he booted a key field goal and then just narrowly missed one, even from 48, I believe. Boy, what a weapon he's going to be, especially now that you use him as kickoffs.
Yeah, getting him back, his leg got a lot stronger from the offseason, and, he came back a year before he was first team All-GLIAC, and he followed up this year with another great year to get back on the team and the second team All-GLIAC. So it shows you he's very consistent, and the other thing about him now, he stepped up his leadership role. He was you've and chosen, as one of the captains of our football team. So getting your kicker back, that's huge. You've been around me long enough now, Rick. I get him down there if it seems like the offense is struggling. I have no problem with trotting him on the field, just like we did for that 48-yarder, which he just missed. But his percentage of kicking field goals, I know he's up for All-American. We'll see how, it works out for him there. But he's got a very high percentage of making those things.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2024 schedule, because it'll be here before you know it, Coach. First thing that I guess we got to bring up is that we got a new GLIAC member joining us next year. Roosevelt from the city of Chicago joins us, and they'll be playing the ball next year.
Excited about playing the program. Obviously, they were in the NAIA, and they've come to this level, and we actually played them, I think it was 2018 when they're under a different name. So getting them to come into the GLIAC, man, this is so long overdue. We've been waiting to get another, team, to come and be a part of the GLIAC and this, this tough football family. So we're excited about them. We're familiar with them, obviously, from when we played them in 2018. So coming in this year, it helps us out with scheduling a tremendous amount.
Along with the scheduling question comes up the other side of the coin. You mentioned, how you've established this program now as one of the top or better programs in the GLIAC, along with the Ferris and Grand Valleys. Well, you're now starting to run into a little bit of what they have been running for years, and that is scheduling non-conference games, because a lot of teams that previously would say, sure, we'll play you, they're not so anxious to do it now.
Well, sometimes when you get up to number 9 in the country and you finish in the top 25 the last few years, it tells you a lot about your program and where you're going, and we're proud of it. But like you said, Rick, it now lends itself to tough scheduling and finding teams that will actually put you on the schedule. When we're in the process right now finalizing our schedule for next year, we got one more date to fill. Because I think that had a little bit to do with the fact that we only played 10 games this year versus 11. So it's a lot of work, man, trying to get people to come in here and play us. And then, but we'll continue to work at it. And the model that we have in Division II for selecting teams, it has a lot to do with playing 11 games versus 10 games, playing Division II opponents. A great example is Ferris played Montana in an unbelievable game. But that loss really did nothing for them in regards to the strength of schedule. And you're talking about the number 3 team in FCS. So that's just the Division II model. So we have to embrace it, and we'll just continue to look for teams that will come in here and play us.
And that's the other side of that. Nice having another GLIAC team, because that's one less date you have to fill up with
Correct.
Roosevelt with an extra league game with that. Talk a little bit about the spring plan, because you've adjusted your spring practice and how you
Correct.
approach it through the years. What are you looking for this coming spring?
Well, Rick, the thing that's exciting this year, it's a new rule that passed at the Division II level. We, my friend, will get a chance to see a different helmet in the springtime. We have the ability now to have a shared practice with one of the other universities from the Division II level. So I'm currently in negotiations with someone coming in here or us traveling, during one of the weeks in the spring to possibly do a shared practice and or a spring game. So this is the first time at this level, and we're extremely excited about that.
Can you actually play an actual game, or is it just be a scrimmage?
It could be a scrimmage, but for me and the purposes coming back from my professional days, I would much rather do a shared practice, versus a game, because if you do a shared practice, it's controlled. You can get into some more situational things. So I'm excited about it. This is one of the things, the big changes in Division II that I was all on board with.
Finally, Coach, recruiting is a year-round process. Tell us about where you're standing right now and where you go from here, where not only you, but all of your coaches are going to be out and about, I'm sure.
Well, as we speak, my guys are already on planes, trains, and automobiles. We're out there right now. We lost some really good football players, and we take a look at our at our roster. We evaluate our roster, and we want to know where we are right now, okay? Where are we at right now? What do we have to plug in? How are the young guys developing? Okay, what are those guys doing? We look back at film from the fall and see how they were doing, and if these guys, are ready to step up and play a large role, or do we need to find someone in the portal to come in here? So from high school kids, to junior college kids, to grad transfers, to four-year college kids transfers, it's a lot of work that goes into it, but we love it. We love what we do. And, it's now become a destination spots, and now student athletes, they look up, and you got Davenport ranked in the top 10 in the country, playing big games. Part of our deal as we recruit student athletes is saying that we're going to be playing in meaningful games. Rick, if you would told me 6 years ago you're going to be playing in back-to-back championship games, into year 5 and 6, I would say, I don't know, because this conference is extremely tough. So a lot of credit to the university, a lot of credit to our staff and our kids. We're in a good place right now, and I'm very excited about returning a pretty solid roster for the 2024 season.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing the unveiling of the 24 schedule when that becomes available. So that'll be out on dupanthers.com as soon as it can. Coach, I think the state of the program is looking really good and rising, and that's what you want. So let's get at it again soon. And I know you guys will be working hard all in the off season, and 24 will be here before you know it.
Well, thank you for all you do, too, because, you're the voice of the Panthers, man. And I get a lot of great people in the community talking about how you call our games and the professionalism we have, and it does a lot for us. I tell you what, our boys love it on the highlight films, so keep up the good work, and I look forward to working with you again.
All right, that'll do it. That'll wrap up our State of the Program special here on the Davenport football side. So, again, stay tuned to dupanthers.com when anything comes available as far as the upcoming schedule or the spring practice and the spring game and whatever is going to be played out. That'll be posted on dupanthers.com. So, again, once again, for the head coach, Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us for our State of the Program special on the football team, and go Panthers.